Thank you for joining us for this episode of Season 3 of Comply on the Fly with M3 and Karen B. Comply on the Fly is your trusted weekly resource for reliable insight and quick answers to common employee benefits compliance questions. Please note this podcast and the contents herein do not constitute legal advice. Seek the advice of counsel for any employee benefits compliance related guidance or strategy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen B. And this Comply on the Fly episode today focuses on PCORI fees, specifically missed PCORI fees. We have been getting this question a lot lately for those that may have missed the July 31st annual deadline for filing. So I wanted to provide some information on what to do if you discover non-payment of this PCORI fee. First, I want to stress that PCORI fees are submitted to the IRS or Internal Revenue Service on Form 720, which is a quarterly excise tax return. So whenever you hear IRS or tax return, you should definitely consult your finance department or your tax advisor or tax professional above all on these matters. Second, a reminder that PCORI fees are fees that are required under the Affordable Care Act for the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, thus PCORI, and they are assessed on covered lives under a group health plan. If you are fully insured for your group health plan, these fees are paid by your carrier on your behalf. If you are self-funded for your health plan, you are required to pay these fees. You may also be required to pay these fees if you have an HRA health reimbursement arrangement, and specifically if you have an HRA that is integrated with a fully insured health plan or a retiree-only HRA. Now that we have the basics out of the way, I want to give a brief outline of what you can do if you missed paying your PCORI fees. The corrective action you take will depend on whether you typically file a Form 720 for all quarters of a particular year. If you normally file the Form 720 for other excise taxes that you pay, then you will simply need to amend the second quarter filing to add the PCORI fees. PCORI fees are always paid for the second quarter. This is done by filing Form 720X for the second quarter of each year in question. If you do not typically file Form 720, then a Form 720 will need to be filed for each applicable year of missed fees for only the second quarter of each of those years. There are no specific procedures to rectify late or missed tax return filings if you do not otherwise file this form. The filing should be done as soon as the missed filing or filings are discovered. The IRS, of course, can charge interest and penalties. There is nowhere on Form 720 to self-assess penalties and interest, so we suggest you work with your tax professional to determine if you should include an estimated amount for interest and penalties along with the PCORI fee amount. If you miss filing PCORI fees, it is, of course, best to take action immediately to get the form filed and any amount owing paid, and hopefully stop the tolling of interest and penalties. And remember, because this is technically a tax issue, you should always seek the advice of your tax professional. And that is your Comply on the Fly episode for today. Thanks for tuning in.
For more compliance insights from Karen B, please visit m3ins.com. You can also follow and subscribe to Comply on the Fly on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts.